if we want to live as sort of realized human beings, fully actualized human beings, in realization of who we are, what we got going for us, what can reward us, what can fulfill us truly and deeply and passionately, and give back and contribute and serve, then it's incumbent on us to investigate ourselves, go on a journey, a bit of a journey, and discover who we are, and who we, even to start with, I think, who we're not, and then who we are, what we got going for us, because everybody's got a lot going for them. You can tell from our story, and it's not a sub story, it's just true. I believed I was a little worm, with just absolutely nothing going for it, and stupid and unintelligent and all of that. And as a result, I never finished school. I didn't finish school. I never read anything. I never wrote anything, because I just believed I didn't have it, even to read anything or to write anything. And yet, when I sort of tapped into myself, got in touch with myself, I've done pretty good now.
Welcome to Wellness Spring, our one-stop shop for education, inspiration, motivation, and optimal wellness. Learn from top experts and exceptional people. Welcome everyone to Wellness Spring. And more importantly, welcome William Whitecloud. It's so lovely to have you on the show with us today.
Thanks, Beverly. Thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to having a good chat with you and everyone else, right?
Yes, exactly. The power of the internet now, we can be global in an instant. As you've learned with doing your online courses recently. So I'm sure that was a big challenge for you, I'm sure.
Well, it makes me feel very sheepish and foolish, and a lot of people have asked me what I've learned, what's the pandemic's taught me, and it basically taught me that I'm an idiot, really, to be honest, right? Because people always say to me, why don't you do your courses online, or could you do this online? I go, no, this works very, intimate and one-on-one, and it's got to be done in person. You can't do this online. It was just a massive assumption of mine. And then the pandemic happened, and we were forced to take it online. In fact, I wasn't even forced to take it online. I just thought, there's a real, sort of shitstorm coming down on us here, and I just knew that much. And I just went, I got to do something to help my people, my network, and whoever related to them, to give them something that can just give them a good foundation to get through whatever's coming down the pipeline here, do that. And so I had filmed some tutorials and that, and I just went, I'll put those up, and I'll just put those up online and try and create some sort of forum where people can tap into those tutorials and create also a forum where people can meet and share that material and maybe practice it and that. And I just had that vague idea. And other people came in, were just really inspired by the idea, and came in and actually set up all the platforms and the system that evolved to what it is now. And I didn't really even have anything to do with it, but there it was, it just materialized. And now we realize, this works beautifully online. And so you see what I'm saying is, it made me look really silly to myself after years of saying, no, you can't do this. And now here it is. Yeah. There's other things that taught me as well, actually, about how wrong I was about a lot of things, but that's another story.
Exactly. Life is about stories, as we both know. So for the people who are listening, I'd like to tell you a small bit about William. William Whitecloud is a creative genius. He went from being critically ill for 10 years and sitting on death's doorbed to being a very successful entrepreneur. He is the best-selling author of Magician's Way, The Last Shaman, and most recently, Secrets of Natural Success, which I can personally recommend. And he is the founder. Yeah, no, well, I read it because I was blessed to do your course recently, the 5-week course with Create Your Destiny, which you generously gave for free. And I know it's your mission to train 1 million people for free, which, you know, my heart and soul goes out to you because that's such a generous offer. And I know from people I met at the course, you know, everybody has gained so much out of it. Your work is truly magical. You know, I personally think that your course should be taught at schools so that we can live the life that we were meant to live and not live in our negative programming and belief systems, which we'll talk about shortly. But maybe you could tell the audience a little bit, because first of all, my mother was clairvoyant, clair everything, and I was born with that gift as well. And things happen naturally for me when I get in touch with what I now know is my creative genius, my soul, and I listen to the voices. And I was blessed to interview Chris Duncan, who ranted and raved about you because he was saying how generous you were and gave him free mentoring. And then your course came up on my news feed, and then Lilu's interview came up, and I thought, oh, this is 3 signs. I think I better get in touch and do the course. And Chris wanted me to connect me with you so I could interview you. So things happen when they're in the flow and they're meant to be. But could you tell people about your upbringing and where you grew up, your education, your family? Because I know this will lead to how you became the creative genius you are today.
Sure, yeah, sure. Well, anyway, thanks for all the complimentary things you said, and thanks to Chris for introducing us. I love Chris. He's a terrific guy, and it's really interesting that I did. You know, he came to me, and I did mentor him for free, but it's not as generous as it sounds. He's actually given me a lot back as well. You know, it's been a terrific exchange, and it continues to be that to this day. And he's a very generous man himself, right? But as for me and my background, I grew up in Africa, in a country now called Eswatini. It used to be called Swaziland, and they just changed the name to Eswatini. Very, very small little magical kingdom. It's a kingdom in Africa, and a beautiful place. So I had kind of a really idyllic childhood, and you know, growing up in one sense. But I mean, there is actually a shadow side to everything, and certainly there was to my life and my growing up. And the thing, my experience was that, you know, we haven't got a lot of time, so I'll be economical in what I say. But basically, I grew up with a father who was a great man in many respects, but he had an incredible intellectual inferiority complex issues, and that which he somehow projected onto me and nobody else. For some reason, he picked on me and he hammered me and led me, you know, and conditioned me and led me to believe that I was stupid. And in fact, when I was sort of arriving at manhood, he took me aside and actually said that there was no hope for me in life, but that if I made it to Europe, that over there were jobs that could be done that other people didn't want to do, that Europeans didn't want to do. And if I got myself to Europe and got there then I could get a job like a garbage man or something. And that's the thing that he picked on, is I could get a job as a garbage man. And because other people didn't want to do it, and the standard of living in Europe, I could make a living and you know, be all right. So that was his message to me, is like, look, you could cut it as a garbage man in Europe, not in Africa, because we've got Africans to do that here, and you can't compete with that. And so that was my sense of myself. And so I had a very low sense of worth and esteem and sense of possibility and all of that. And it led to tremendous complications. I was a heroin addict for 10 years, and you know, lived a pretty screwed up, miserable life. I don't want to sound like a victim, but yeah, it was a fact. So I had this like incredible upbringing in the Garden of Eden in Africa, but what you know, I came out of it screwed up, right, and lived the first half of my life in a very screwed up way. And it took me to my deathbed. You know, I was dying, and objectively I was, you know, you're dying when you're getting deathbed counseling, right? From a legitimate
Yes,
deathbed.
I know.
Right?
Oh my God. What was that like? You know, how did you feel when someone came to give you that counseling?
Very depressing. I was depressed anyway. I was extremely depressed.
Yeah.
And to get that, and it was like an admonishment, you know, it's just like, you know, I'm making everybody, I'm an inconvenience to everybody else, and I should just face the fact that I'm dying and surrender to it and go. And you know, it was very upsetting. It was very depressing. You know, I was extremely in an extremely depressed state of mind as it was, and a very powerless condition in life. But I did heal, and I healed through an experience that was not aided by medicine or any sort of alternative healing, you know, model or anything, right?
Yeah.
I
know you said you crawled out to the park, and you were probably looking like a tramp, and because that rare illness you had, the skin was dropping off you, and you must have looked like a real hobo. And the guy who sat next to you, you didn't even want to speak to, and I'll let you say the rest.
Thanks for such a good description. You did very well. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was actually after receiving counseling that I hardly ever had any energy, but when I could, I'd go down to the park below, and I went down to the park, and you know, I did, like you said, that you described. I looked like death warmed up, but I felt like death warmed up. And anyway, cut a long story short, this man engaged me in a conversation, which he forced it upon me. You know, I just wanted to be left alone. But anyway, he came around to drawing it out of me, what was going on and what my sad story was. And he absolutely floored me by saying, I know what's going on for you, because nobody else did, right? No doctors, no, you know, no healers, nobody, no psychologists, no psychiatrists. I'd seen them all. Yeah. And he said, I know what's wrong with you. And he proceeded to tell me his story, which I totally related to. Once he told me his story, I knew that he had had this experience that I'm having, that he had had this condition that I'm having. And here he was, fit, strong, healthy young man, telling me he had had it and he's well now. And I've been told to just check out, to stop inconveniencing everyone and just check out, you know. And here's this guy healed, right? And he said, yeah, no, I'll give you the cure. I'll tell you what it involves, right? And so my ears pricked up like, all right, you know, this is good. This is good. This is exciting. The first excitement I'd felt in years. And he says, yeah, you know what the cure for this is. You must start eating animal protein, which I'd given up long ago. You must go back to eating animal protein, you know, steaks and things like that. And you must have some white wine, not red wine, white wine with that. And also, you should have a few coffees every day. And also, you should have one or two, preferably 2 cigarettes a day. and you will be gold. You'll be as fit as a fiddle in no time.
All the things that people, all the things that doctors normally tell us not to do.
Nobody knew what was wrong with me, but the one thing they knew was that I shouldn't be eating meat. They knew that I shouldn't be touching alcohol. I shouldn't be doing substances, not coffee, I was living on boiled cabbage and vitamin infusions, and and this guy said, no, you just throw that all away. And I did. I put it all in the garbage bag, threw it away. But at first it was very confronting, because this is the stuff everyone told would kill me. And I thought, Christ, if I do what he says, that then the deathbed counselor is going to be very happy, because I'm definitely going to be checking out, right? But anyway, I just, it's like, what the hell? What the hell? Like, look at him, he's the thing. And what have I got to lose? And if I'm going to go out, I might as well go out with a cigarette and a cup of coffee and a glass of wine or whatever. But I did. Long story short, again, I just followed his prescription, and I was better in no time. Just got better and I was in really bad shape. I had no short-term memory. I used to carry a card with my name on it and my address, in case which I often did. I just forgot who I was and where I was and all that. And I was skin and bones. I had sores all over me. I had tension, headaches all the time. I hallucinated every waking moment of my life in the end. It went on and off for years, but in the end was just constant for months. I just hallucinated constantly. While the guy was talking to me in the park, I was hallucinating. Right? It was dreadful. And it just all cleared up like that. It took a while for the weight to come back and the sores to clear off my body and all that. But I was back. And I was back, right?
Did you take any photos of yourself like that, or were you too depressed to think about it?
No, I didn't. I most probably did. There most probably were, and definitely there were. But I'm a person who doesn't keep photographs from last year. Nowadays with Facebook, we take photos and post them and that. And so I have all these memories on Facebook, but outside of that, photo albums, all of that, I got no records of myself from anywhere or any time. But it wouldn't be complimentary, right?
It's good to have a before and after, though.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, the description you give is so graphic. Everybody can visualize and imagine, what it would have been like to be stuck in bed most of the day, and would have been painful with no weight on your body, bed sores and other sores and everything else.
Yeah, but it was an amazing thing, because it was an amazing experience, and also turnaround, because what I realized from that is that really I created all of that. I created all of that because unconsciously, I now know, I realized that I had a belief that there was nothing to me. I was substanceless, really, and there was nothing, and I had no passion for life. I had no vision for life. I had no agenda for my life. I had no direction for my life. My life was just, I had absolutely, my sense of self was I had nothing going for me. And the only thing that I could do and saw as any kind of end result was to survive, was just somehow to survive. Because, even my father had given me that sense of, well, it's just hopeless for you. You won't survive unless you find a situation where you can go and do something that requires no intelligence, nothing, no capability as such or anything, and that way you will survive.
I believe your teachers put you down in school and you were bullied at school, so that would have reinforced your father's words as well.
Well, of course, you see, because belief creates reality. So your formative experiences in life, you take them on board, and then they have a habit of recurring. And everyone can relate to that. When I do my workshops and that, we get people to really investigate what they took on in the earliest years, and then just watch the extrapolation of that through their lives. And so that was for me. And the thing is, you see, so then I just didn't even believe I could survive when I look back at it. And so I was clinging to life. And really what I was clinging to was not dying. And that's where it took me in the end, and
Yeah.
Through that experience, I wasn't taught this. I mean, I came to learn a lot about it, but I wasn't taught it. I'd never done personal development. I didn't know there was such a thing as personal development. I didn't know anything like that. But from that experience, what occurred to me is that there's some mechanism by which I create my own reality by my focus. Because I just started noticing, started occurring to me really, what my focuses had been, and then what my results were. And even when I got better, how I what this guy told me about eating meat and drinking wine, and I actually didn't end up going, wow, meat's really good, wine's really good, I've got to keep smoking and drinking coffee. I didn't actually believe in the efficacy of those properties. What occurred to me is it freed me up from a preoccupation, from a focus that had been killing me. And now I just let go of that focus. And it was like, what the hell? And when I freed up from that focus, I immediately bounced back, right? Into another condition of life. And so that's why I'm here now. That's why I'm talking to you.
Yes.
That's why I've written the books I've written, teach the teachings I teach, because I made this connection, this realization that my focus creates my reality. I didn't know how it worked, though. I didn't really know, well, okay, there's that, but what is it? And how does it work? And most importantly, how do you apply that to actually have things turn out the way you want to be, and basically create your paradise on earth instead of your hell on earth. And so that became my investigation and practice, and then my sharing with everyone else.
Yeah, as you say in the course, we're all given a second chance of living the life that we're meant to live. And going back to the beliefs, because I've done loads of different trainings, and what I liked about your training was the structure, how you built everything up very simply and got everyone doing exercises and doing follow-ups in the week and watching your videos. But with the beliefs, it's the first time I'd heard that they were male or female orientated, and how we design from, our mother from conception till 2. It's all about how we need love and get our love. And then from 2 till 4, how traditionally the Father takes us on top of a mountain and how we see the world. Would you like to talk a bit about that and belief systems? And because I know I was running loads like not good enough, I need to be perfect, not capable, etc. And I think all of us are running on beliefs.
Oh, you better believe it. Everyone's running on beliefs, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's running on beliefs. Until you learn that you're running on beliefs and learn what your beliefs are and how they run you, then you have the opportunity to go onto another track in life. But essentially, what I call fundamental beliefs, not assumptions, not assumptions, because we can always get over assumptions and change our assumptions. Like you could assume that you'll drown, you can't swim, and then you get tossed into the water and you find you can swim, and now your belief about that, your assumption has changed. Actually, I can float. So there are all kinds of assumptions that can be changed, but what I call the fundamental beliefs, you see, is that we all have an ego, and our ego is our vehicle of orientation, most essentially. it's a big subject, the ego, but let's just say that essentially it's the vehicle of orientation. So it wants to know how to operate here. It wants to know how it is here. How is it here, and how do I operate? You see, and so how it learns how it is and how to operate, how it gets direction, develops strategies, all of that. It looks for validation of your sort of nature, your you know, it has a sense of itself, of your own essential nature. And then it looks for validation of that nature, and it looks for nurturing from the feminine, which is love and belonging, from the feminine, from the mother, and it looks for acknowledgement and sort of orientation from the father. That's why you get these proverbs, these indigenous traditional proverbs, like the one that you sort of half quoted there, which is a Mayan proverb, which says that the mother must hold the child close, that it knows that it belongs in the world, and father must take it to the highest hill so it can see how the world is. And so there you can see that right there encapsulated, and we could quote many other indigenous quotes that say the same thing. And right there that you can see the forms of validation and where they come from, and that. And so then, to the degree that that's not met, and you can bet that there can be the most ideal childhood, which is never perfect. We all know that. Even as parents, we know that we do our best, but we're not perfect. And so there's no such thing as perfect parenting. There's no such thing as perfect validation. And the degree to which that is unmet wounds us, it hurts us. There's an emotional pain that goes with that. And so to resolve the pain, we are, even though we little things, we still like consciousness, and we can decide, we can discern, and we go, why am I hurting? Why am I hurting? And so then we make up beliefs like, well, I'm unlovable. In other words, I'm not worthy. I don't belong. They're the feminine. I'm not allowed to be capable. They're these feminine-oriented beliefs, and then they're masculine ones, like the trust, very masculine derived. I'm not safe. I'm not good enough. You see, it's about doing and achievement, and that, and I don't have the capacity. There's these masculine-derived beliefs. And so then we have these beliefs. We have these, what I call fundamental beliefs, that give us orientation. And they're very fixed because they give us orientation. They give our egos orientation. Yes. And if we could really change them, we would have no orientation after that. We actually wouldn't have personalities after that, because they give us our orientation, personalities, everything. Because from there, if we go, oh, I know how I am, I'm unworthy. Then we go, well, what's life about? Compensating, being a good person, you know, you know, like building approval and all that. And so it creates all these strategies for us, which are just basically compensating for what we believe we are, what the limitations we believe we have, the deficiencies we believe we have. And so that actually becomes our orientation. And so that you can see people doing this way, people who are do-gooders, people who are addictive approval seekers, people who are addictive achievers, people who are, you know, addictive devil's advocates and safety freaks and whatever, right? It's not what they want. It's not what they love. It's not what they want to create. It's a compensating tendency. It's a compensating logic. It's a compensation for who they believe they are, right? For their sense of, for our sense, because I'm talking as though there's a them and not a me, but there is me. And as you know, I just shared with you what my beliefs were and compensating tendency. But that's what we do. We compensate for who we believe we are. And it's unconscious. We don't know we're doing it, but we are. And we just think, well, that's a legitimate thing to want in life, to make lots of money or to have everybody love us and go and work in a leper colony somewhere and do a whole lot of good. And yeah, that's me, that's my heart. It's not, you know, like not in that sense. it's what you're compensating for. And all the while that you do that, you just reinforce that that's what you are. You give, because you're actually giving that the power. And so then, you know, what's the point in life as far as I see? What's the meaning in life? The hero's journey.
It's exhausting as well, because it niggles away at you if you, even like, you know, when you want to achieve, you can be told, in my case, I was top of the class, passed all my other exams, you know, with flying colors and distinctions, my degrees, but you still don't think you're good enough, and it niggles away at you. So, you know, it's really hard to change.
You can never achieve it. You can never, if you're an approval seeker, you can never get enough approval. If you're an achievement seeker, you'll never achieve enough. I remember watching Tony Robbins, who I really respect, right? He's a great guy, and he's got a lot of good stuff going for him. Amazing, right? And I remember watching his TED talk, which I tell people to watch, and I love it. And he asked his audience, which are very successful people in the audience, a former vice president of America who's created hundreds of millions of dollars, all these sort of people are in the audience, right? And so he's got this very high achieving audience. And he says to them, put up your hand if you've ever created something really kind of spectacular that you thought was great, and you went for it and you got it, and then you went, yeah. Everyone in that audience puts up their hand. They're all high achievers, right? And they go, yeah, me. Because you see that, they're all people that go, yeah, okay, I created this amazing thing, but not enough. I mean, what's not enough? They're billionaires. They're vice presidents of America, all sorts of things. They're not enough, right? If I had been in that audience, though, I would have gone, yeah, I would have gone, no, not me. When I create something, I go, shit, I created something. How amazing is that? I love it, right? But people with not good enough, it doesn't do anything for them, right? And so whatever you are, it's like people with trust issues. They can never be safe enough. Not if that's where they're coming from, you see. And a high achiever can receive satisfaction out of what they create if that's not where they're coming from. If they're not trying to fill up the hole of their emptiness, but creating something actually meaningful and that they love, they can have satisfaction. And that's what I'm saying. You see, what is the antidote? Well, you got to learn about yourself and develop self-awareness and where you're coming from and what you're living in favor of and what you're acting in favor of, and whether it's a compensation or whether it's a legitimate, true passion of yours to be involved in, right?
Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, they haven't got any hobbies or passions, they don't know what their purpose is. And do you think that's because they're coming from their belief systems and not being able to tap into their creative genius?
Yeah, I mean, they're just anybody who says that, it's not that they don't have a purpose or a passion or a direction or a destiny. We all do. You're just not in touch with it. I mean, for the first half of my life, I wasn't. I thought, I thought I was a piece of dirt. I thought I was a nobody, right? The idea that I had a passion or a purpose or would have been the most foreign thing to me. And so, as I say, anyone who can say, well, I don't know what my purpose is, I believe you when you say that, but it's not that you don't have one. You do, and so I believe it's if we want to live as sort of realized human beings, fully actualized human beings, in realization of who we are, what we got going for us, what can reward us, what can fulfill us truly and deeply and passionately and give back and contribute and serve, then it's incumbent on us to investigate ourselves, go on a journey, a bit of a journey, and discover who we are and who we, even to start with, I think, who we're not. and then who we are, what we got going for us, because everybody's got a lot going for them. You can tell from our story, and it's not a sub story, it's just true. I believed I was a little worm, with just absolutely nothing going for it, and stupid and unintelligent and all of that. And as a result, I never finished school. I didn't finish school. I never read anything. I never wrote anything, because I just believed I didn't have it, even to read anything or to write anything. And yet, when I sort of tapped into myself, got in touch with myself, I've done pretty good now in the
I
second
think you've
half
done
of my life,
extremely
right?
well.
Yeah. So not to brag in that, but I'm just saying, compared to what anybody expected of me and what I expected of myself, I've done extraordinarily well, considering the disadvantages I've had to work with, which is being uneducated, and all of like my psychological disadvantages. And yet I kind of realized what I've got going for me, and I've had a go at it. I started out writing a book which became an international bestseller, which isn't a bad effort for an illiterate person, right? And you see all of these things, you realize, wow, this is what I got going for myself, and this, and then become involved in what you truly got going for yourself. And if you take any human being, you can look at anybody, even the people that you judge in the harshest terms and the most miserable terms and all that, even then, actually within them is a remarkable nature capable of remarkable creations and experience and activity and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, just getting back to it, it's up to us.
Yeah.
Life did us all hard. Every day I hear sob stories.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound harsh in that, but I do. I hear all the sob stories. It's like, oh, but yeah, I'm different. Life did me hard. Life disadvantaged me. The way it is, I'm disadvantaged. I'm a victim and all that, right? And as long as you continue to think that way, you will perpetuate that, right? But you don't have to. Because it's actually up to you to go on a journey and you find out what's within you and begin expressing that and practicing that and putting that into practice, right? And through that, change your whole life experience.
Yeah, I really loved the course, and obviously you started with premises and then you went on to aspects of consciousness. And for a lot of people listening, it would be great if you could explain your definition of consciousness and how we tap into our super consciousness, which you call our creative genius, to help them on their pathway, besides coming to your wonderful workshops. They can read your books for sure.
Everybody is free to come to my foundational course, which you did, and they're welcome to come to that for free, right? And avail themselves of this really incredible foundation for living and creating, where you learn to become the dominant creative force in your own life and not a victim of life. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I'm curious to know why you're offering it for free for 1 million people. I know it's a wonderful thing to do.
Well, I just get to do it, right? I did it as a service. I did it as a service, and I did it as a service initially. It was just like, well, we've got to do something, and it all came together. Now it's a very sophisticated platform and all of that.
Yeah.
And why do I do it for free? Because I can, and because I want to. It grew out of helping people and seeing the results. I think we've taken 17,000 people from 60 different countries through that course. And from India to Argentina to, Costa Rica to Belgium to, wherever, African countries, whatever, we've taken people through, and we get a lot of feedback. And people who are doing okay did better. People who were in deep trouble got themselves out of trouble. Lives were changed. Communities were changed. Families were changed. So much good happened. So much good was done that we went, okay, let's keep doing it till the end of the pandemic. We thought there would be an end to the pandemic. Doesn't seem to be an end. But we thought there would be an end. So we said, let's keep doing this till the end. And then it was like, okay, let's just keep doing this. Let's set a goal. This is wonderful. I mean, if we can take it to thousands of people and it's having this impact all around the world, what about if 1 million people did that, and then their impact on the world? So let's do it, because we can do it in a way where it's self-funding, right, and it's free. And I mean, just also, it's not why we do it, but as a direct result, my money-making business benefits from it, right? There's a return to my money-making business. So all good. It's all good. We're making money, and we can do this for free. And it's a legacy. It's a legacy. It was always the thing that always drove me. The driver, I've been doing this for 28 years, and the driver at all has been always, well, from the very early, it was selfish. I thought there was a way consciousness worked, and I wanted to understand it so I could just be happier and better and all that. But once I got to learn it and understand it, immediately my intention was that I would get this out into the world. And I've been doing it, plodding along and everything, doing it as best as I can. And now this has happened, and then there's this realization is like, here's your chance, William. Here's your chance to really get it out there, to really, just this is a possibility now, and we're building it up now. So now it's not, you don't do it overnight, because there are platforms to create, people to train up, and all that, which nobody sees, not many people see as happening, but it is. There's people right now, as we speak, around the world, there are people working on coding and creating platforms and training up people, because I'm not going to take it to 1 million people. Other people are being trained up to take it to 1 million people. People also with good hearts and an attitude of and a desire for being of service.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. The best gift you can give to someone is being of service. And I know your wife does this work, because you joke about she's in bed doing her choices every morning. And do your children do it? And what is the youngest age that people can start doing this? Because I was serious when I said I think it should be taught in schools.
Well, my kids have absorbed this via osmosis, and there are obviously elements of the work that, more than other elements, that we've taught them even from a very young age, how to tune into things, how to not identify with their thoughts and feelings, teach them that what they're thinking and what they're feeling isn't a reflection of what's going on, isn't a good reflection of what's going on, and they shouldn't react to that. Just to help them be able to see through what they're thinking and feeling, and see things from a higher perspective. There's a lot of things that at different times we've enabled them, and they've hung around with us, and they've picked up things through, as I say, through osmosis. But formally, we don't teach anybody. I mean, there would be a lot of elements of our work that you could teach young people, and you could teach them in school. you know, just the basic things like focus and you know, how people understand the degree to which they have power in situations, all those sort of things you can teach. But the sort of psychological components, we don't go near young people. I mean, they're legal reasons and they're also psychological reasons, because you know, even into teens, it's why you know, I told my kids that I was against them doing drugs when I had done drugs at their age. But what I explained to them is when I was that age, we didn't know, and scientists didn't know the effects on the brain, on a developing brain, and on all that. And so I'm like, you know, when you get to the right age, I'll be very happy for you to take drugs. I'll take drugs with you, whatever, right? But don't do it now. And by the same token, also, I'm not on a developing brain. I'm not going to impose the psychological aspects of the work. You know, like expose people to their wounds and you know, their shadows and all of that. You're clear of that until there's a developmental level at which it's, you know, it has integrity to do, because what, you know, I mean, I just know that naturally, I know that legally, but also if you look at how it's been done traditionally, you just look at initiation, and initiation is performed on men and women coming of age. And let's just take men. It's the most simplistic for me to look at is when do they take men away for initiation of boys to be men? Well, it might have been a lot younger in the past, but in those days, at that age, you went to war, right? You went hunting, went to war, etc. So now the age at which you go to war and you go hunting and, you know, whatever, and is you can drive a car and all of that, 18 or something like that and older. And so it's just obvious that's the psychological age where the psychological initiations can take place. So I have no problem with many aspects of the work being, you know, children, empowering children with that, because there's a lot of things you can empower kids with. And I have friends in Australia who do the boys to men kind of thing with teenage boys. And I've been on some of the camps, and they're perfectly good because they focus on these elements that you can, but they don't get into the psychological weeds of it, right?
Yeah. Do you want to tell people in a nutshell what happens on your courses? I probably can't do it quickly, but because even the superconscious, and I love what you talk about, innocence in no sense, and you know, the land of plenty and things like that.
I can say it very quickly.
Oh,
I can
cool.
say it. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Very sophisticated. I mean, there's a whole curriculum, right? But essentially, even the foundation can prepare you for it. But what my work is about learning to become the predominant creative force in your own life, which means that you are prepared in a way that through your focus, your own wisdom and focus and the reclamation of your wisdom and focus, you are then structured that how your life turns out is, you know, as you choose it to be, as you wish it to be. You're the predominant creative force in your life. The way your life turns out, in other words, is determined by you yourself, and is not a reflection of what happened to you in childhood. It's not a reflection of your past. It's not a reflection of what you managed before. It's not a reflection of what happened to you. It's not a reflection of your problems. It's not a reflection of the circumstances. It's a reflection of how you want it to be. Life turns out to be a reflection of what you choose, how you want it to be. And it's borne out because there has been a shitstorm for the last nearly 2 years, right?
Yes.
And a lot, there's a lot going on that indicates I have no power, I have no choice, I'm in a situation that's forced on me, the governments are doing things that give me no choice, all of that. And yet, what we help people with, and we've helped thousands and thousands, is be free of that illusion and build and create the lives that they love. And that's it. It's very simple to say. I mean, what does it involve? It involves a whole lot that can take a lot of time to say what it involves. But what it's about is very easy to say, which is what I've just explained.
Yeah. And for the people listening, I did the course, and you have to be prepared to do the homework and fully immerse yourself in it. And it is an enjoyable experience. And when you give your heart and soul to it, you will start leading this life of magic. And as I mentioned at the start, I loved it so much, I've signed up for your Alchemy for Success course, which I'm I'm really looking forward to it. Yes.
That's not far away. Thanks for saying all of that. And I mean, it is a training. It is a training. It's not a lecture or something.
No.
So it does involve, tutorials and practice sessions. It's training. But as you said, if you get into it, you're going to be amazed. And more than anything else about it, judging by everybody's reaction, you're going to be amazed about yourself and what you got inside you, and your creative power and all that. But thanks for saying that. I really appreciate it.
No, it's fine. I know there was well over 700, probably close to 800 in the course I did, and I was amazed that most people stuck it till the end, because a lot of time when you're given free stuff, you half-heartedly do it and then fizzle out. But I'm very grateful for you giving up your time and for your extreme generosity. And I will put all your contact details with this information. And I'm very happy to have met you and be part of your community. And I wish you ongoing success. So thank you for your sharing.
Thanks so much for inviting me for a very, a great conversation. Always my favorite subject, so it's easy to engage in these topics. but it's a real pleasure to meet you. And we could be neighbors if we had synced when I lived where you're living, and
exactly.
So nice to meet you.
Thank you, and I'm sure I'll meet you in person one day. But as you know, we're not really this physical form. We are beyond this physical body, and no sense or no time, no space. We're pure innocence.
Well, we're pure creative spirit. The truth is we're pure creative spirit connected to everything through all time and space, which is the basis of our intuitive and creative power, right?
Yeah, we'll have to do another talk on intuition and creative power.
We must, because there's one thing that we didn't follow through on. You said tell people about consciousness, and we never went back there. We went off on a tangent. So, we could talk about a few more things for sure.
Oh, that would be lovely. Okay. So thank you. And to the listeners, the best gift you can give yourself is the gift of Create Your Destiny workshop. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Beverly. And thanks, everyone.